Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is finally Fiendish Friday. Yes, folks, Friday is finally upon us. TGIF. First and foremost, before I roll on to anything, I want to wish you guys a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk as usual. Please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing you guys every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, permitting my schedule, and of course, major holidays. And then also do me one last favor and check out the information in the description box. I give you a little bit bigger of a taste of the daily movie that I am rambling on about. In today's, you'll find a brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, your runtime of the cut I am watching, along with an MPAA rating. But in today's case, there is not one, which most of the stuff I review usually does not have one. And then what else? I got some trivia in there if I find anything worthwhile of mentioning, which I came up with a couple of things that I thought was quite interesting. And then I got you a link for a trailer for the movie itself in there. So I try to give you a little bit more just to give you a bigger, better idea of what I'm rambling on about for the day. Now that I got all of that out of the way, let's get on to the movie of the day. And today's is an absolute gem. It came out back in 1988, so it's got some mileage on it, but either way, it's still very, very fun. It didn't age worth crap, in my opinion. I thought it aged rather poorly, but either way, that's neither here nor there. And it is none other than the classic The Undertaker, released by Joe Spinell, or released by Vinegar Syndrome, starring Joe Spinell. Excuse me. And this one had a plethora of directors on there. There was like 4 different directors on it, and they all ran under pseudonyms. Very, very interesting ordeal when it comes behind that, because there's definitely a lot of disconnection when it comes to the story itself. There's parts of it that are a little bit rough to follow, but it still picks up enough in especially the gore department. And of course the acting by Joe Spinell is always top notch. The guy is amazing, which most of you guys should know Joe Spinell from the immortal classic Maniac, directed by William Lustig. If you have not seen Maniac, do yourself a huge favor and check that out. Also, if you like Maniac, if you like The Undertaker, check out The Fanatic, aka Last Horror Show, I believe, or Last Horror Picture, or something like that. That one is a fun one as well. I feel like that one's probably the weakest out of the 3, but definitely Maniac is the reigning champion, le champion, as they would say. But either way, now this one, like I said, it comes straight to you from Vinegar Syndrome, and they have done an amazing job with presentation of the picture quality that we got going on here. It does get a little shaky because they had to go from 2 different sources to put this together, and unfortunately, the other source was a VHS work print. So there are places in this where there is very, very poor quality visually and audio. So if you don't know that and you're going in here expecting something to be crisp and clean from beginning to end, you're going to be disappointed on that fact, because this one does have that problem going for it. And I think that's its biggest failure as far as a release goes, but they make up for it with everything else they do. They have a director's intro, and I believe there's a ton of special features on there as well. It does have a reversible artwork, I believe. No, it's just it's just a picture from inside the movie itself with our late great Joe Spinell. Now this one, if you got lucky enough, it came with a very, very sweet like red colored slipcover, which was very epic and very cool. Something that I really liked. I unfortunately I missed out on that one. But either way, As far as what this movie is about, it's about this guy. He's an Undertaker. He's kind of a creeper type. He's a wise ass. He's always got something smart to say. Calls people idiots and morons and things like that. Because he has this fascination with going to this movie that is a slasher movie, or what you're led to believe is a horror type slasher type movie, which is cool. I like that, the movie within a movie thing. But I mean, they don't go in that expecting like you're going to get footage from another movie in here. It definitely doesn't do that. It's just all done through audio. But he is obsessed with this movie, and one of the guys that works at the movie theater thinks that he knows who is our killer at large. He eventually finds out who it is. He's this lowly security guard who has really no reason to go after this person, because he is, for one, he's not a police officer. For two, vigilante justice usually doesn't work out in horror movies. It usually ends very poorly, unfortunately. But either way, this guy, he eventually finds out who our killer is. He tails him all the way back to our funeral home where he has all these bodies. And it originally starts out with his nephew Nicky. Nick is a college age kid, and there's a really funny scene that involves him and one of his teachers, where she thinks he is picking up on her, and she politely declines on him and everything like that. But it's just really weird how she went about the situation. For one, I don't think she was wearing a bra, because she was nipping out like hardcore for her students, which is kind of weird. You would think if you're a professor or a teacher of some sorts, you would dress a little more conservatively and make yourself a little more presentable. Not like you're going out to the club, but like you're going to go to court, is how I would describe it as. But either way, she kind of like brushes it off. He's basically trying to tell her that there's something going on with his uncle, because during this class, she is talking about necrophilia, and he comes to her with that. He's like, oh, it happens to do with our subject of the day, necrophilia. He thinks his uncle is doing that. He is able to basically persuade her enough to where she's thinking about it throughout the entire movie, and then she starts putting two and two together. She still entertains the fact of meeting this boy, even though she knows something's not right, I guess. But either way, the rest of the movie were spent with our killer Joe Spinell offing random victims from a girl that is basically hijacked by a biker. She gets a flat tire, one of those ordeals, and she is on the side of the road, and this fella comes along trying to be the knight in shining armor, and he's nothing but a motorcycle scumbag, because he had kind of a weird talk to him, like, you're like in your mother's arms when you're riding with me on this here motorcycle. He kind of talked like that. It was kind of ridiculous, overplayed. It stuck out. That whole part kind of stuck out like a sore thumb to me. But the rest of it is gold. There's a whole satanic side to this as well. So if you are into the whole Satanism stuff in your films, you're definitely going to get it with this one. Now, as far as any other of the victims, they range in different fashion. I would say they're all females. There's only one male, and well, excuse me. I'm sorry. The guy that I was telling you about at the beginning, he gets off. He's going to get off because he knows the deep dark secret of Joe Spinell, or Roscoe as his name is in this one. He knows the secrets of him, so you know for sure this guy's getting off. And then there's another male victim, which I'm not going to tell you who it is because that'll give away a huge spoiler. But either way, he then proceeds to mostly go after females, and then we have an excellent crescendo. It kind of reminds me of Maniac in very, very little ways, the way they ended it, because there's a whole thing with one of the bodies just reaches out and chokes him. It is the most silliest thing that I have seen in a while. Like, it was almost as wonky as the ending to Pieces when the dead body reaches up and grabs the guy by the crotch. That whole thing just cracks me up. So if you want something silly on an ending, definitely ends on a very silly, wacky note. Now, as far as anything goes on a rating side, this thing is not a technical masterpiece by any means when it comes to filmmaking. You can tell, like I said, it's very discombobulated, it's very disjointed. You can tell the differences between the different directors in the style. Unfortunately, that is its hugest downfall, in my opinion. And then its next biggest downfall is the way that it was preserved, for those parts that to get basically lost or destroyed. I can't remember exactly what they said it was, but they run a disclaimer at the very beginning of the film just to let you know what happened and what you're about to witness and why there is very, very poor footage. It looks like it was recorded on a potato. Definitely something that is very, very tough to I guess visually soak everything in, so it gets a little tough with that. It happens to be with some of the key gore as well. So unfortunately, you're not missing anything. It's all there, 100% uncut. It's just in a disconjointed way, if that makes sense. Now, as far as anything entertaining goes, it is off the top notch. It is off the charts entertaining, in my opinion. This is one you're either going to love or hate. There's no middle ground, I feel, with this one. I'm going to say this is more of a 3 out of 5 kind of movie. It runs along that middle of the road, the middle of the path. It could be a whole lot better, and it could be a hell of a lot worse. Like I said, it has not aged very well, so keep that in mind. Anyways, now that I got all that out, I want to go ahead and end things with that. I hope all of y'all have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you get out and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's not too much of a scorcher like it is here. And then hopefully you get to watch some great movies or binge watch some cool series. All right, guys, I love your faces as always, and I can't wait to see you till Monday. And as always,